I'm super excited to welcome you on this edition of the show. If you call this the season of EdTech boom, you won't entirely be wrong. The pandemic has made EdTech companies boom in a way, and that might remain the case for a long time to come. My guest today shares her thoughts on how we can leverage technology to grow the EdTech industry and educate our people better. We have a lot lined up for you, but first, some tech news and updates. This is Tech Trend, and I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.
We know that when it comes to technology and the economy, if you're not constantly moving forward, then without a doubt, you're moving backwards. Python, Java, JavaScript, Ruby are examples of special basic languages every programmer should know. They are used to develop software programs, scripts, and other sets of instructions for computers to execute. But these languages can seem a bit overwhelming and confusing for a newcomer. Now, with Yolang, a programming language designed to write small programs in Yoruba, Anuoluwapo Karonwi makes learning to code easy for indigents of southwestern Nigeria.
For every programming language, and whenever you're starting out, you do need some sort of guidance, rather. And the thing is, with Yolang, when you see the keywords, like we have some keywords here that is she, which is an if statement in English. And when you read it word after word, it sort of makes sense to you. You don't really have to think too much about the logic because you are reading it in your mother tongue. If you are the type that understands things better in your mother tongue, like I am. The features in Yolang consist of basic features a programming language should have, like most C-derived programming languages, so which is Jekyll. The documentation is actually quite clear, so it takes it step by step in a sense, but just like every other programming language out there, you still have to have some small guidance on how to do things because the documentation of the language is just a documentation. Now, building programs with that, you still need some small guidance, but it's easier because you are reading the syntax of your programming language in Yoruba, which is your mother tongue.
What were the hiccups he faced along the way?
There were some things I had to do that required a lot of something we call recursion. So it's recursion at a very big level, and wrapping my head around that was a bit confusing at the start. Then recursion then had backtracking with it for handling operator precedence. So that was one challenge. Another challenge I faced was trying to get it to import other files within it in a way whereby the file path will not be difficult for the users of the language to understand. And yeah, I passed that audition.
Anuoluwapo imagined people who think better in Yoruba would find it easy to understand programming as beginners if they could read the keywords in the language they were most familiar with.
One thing I had in mind when I was creating it is to make it an educational tool, right? So for me, if I can get it to schools for kids that probably don't understand English all that too well, but might want to be interested in programming for some reason. You never know until you get a shot and try. So using Yolang as a map for them to compare. They still have to learn the proper programming languages, but getting into the programming space, understanding it in your mother tongue can make it easier to understand the languages you want to deal with.
Anuoluwapo's aim is to ease the learning process of coding, as well as prove that local languages can have a place in the technology sphere.
Having stable electricity supply is key, but unfortunately, the lack of it is one situation many Nigerians have had to constantly deal with. But now, there appears to be a little change with Opneper.ng, a software application developed by some students of the Federal University of Technology, Akure. The app notifies users about when and where electricity is available. Taslim Salahuddin, who is a recent graduate of the school, said he developed the app with his brother to solve the problem of students always looking around campus for power supply, either for academic or personal pursuits.
If there's no power supply on campus, we try to know if we have power supply at home. before we go home. So let's assume there's none at both sides. We'll have to ask friends whether they put on their generator or where we can find power supply nearest to us, because it was quite expensive to run on petrol for that meantime. So we thought of how best could we solve this problem for our personal selves actually. How best could we always know the current power status of school and everywhere around school, right from where we are, whenever we need it.
How does the app work?
We have a smart device that has the ability to detect power supply. Now, once that device detects power supply, it sends information to the cloud, and the mobile application feeds from the cloud to tell you whether or not you have power supply at home. So it's simple. The device tells you there's light, there's no light. The device is designed to be very home friendly, so it's a very small device that you just plug into a power outlet. So it listens to when the power outlets get power supply. So all we did is get an area that nobody will disturb the device then. It can be in an house or in a shop or anywhere where locally that is safe.
They take the application a step further by adding a special feature to it.
Further the line, we decided to add some other features to make it much more sociable and much more precise. So we decided that what will happen if everywhere you want power supply, there's no power supply at that moment. So how about your friends that have a generator? How will you know that they have power supply in their area? So we designed the system to be able to detect the presence to be able to detect when your friend puts on a generator. So it was quite tricky, it worked out. So whenever you have the application and you're on your generator and you charge your phone detects that you are charging it at that moment. So it updates your profile on our application that you are currently using power supply. So our device in that area knows there's no light. So, but you're the only one charging your device. That means most likely you're using a generator.
As students, it wasn't an easy task, and Taslim tells us how it went.
The first challenge was being able to access the needed materials to create our device. It's very difficult to work on hardware and Internet of Things here in Nigeria because of the infrastructure. They are quite poor. We find it difficult to get the materials needed to test run the device and iterate on it. So some particular sensors that were needed to create the device were not available in Nigeria. So we had to ship from China and wait for like 20-something days because we couldn't use DHL. So each time we wait, just to try out a particular maybe iteration method, whether it will work or not. So if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, we'll try again.
With Opneper Nigeria, both students and everyone else can better plan their tasks, which in turn could boost productivity.
A group of Tunisian developers have designed a software that uses artificial intelligence to detect COVID-19 symptoms in patients' lungs. The software works by comparing lung X-rays of already infected patients with those of suspected cases. An algorithm then determines with 92% accuracy if the person is COVID-19 positive or not. Professor Mustafa Hamdi of the National Institute of Science and Technology, who leads the group that designed the software, says that instrumentalizing AI for COVID-19 diagnosis saves both time and cost.
تطبيق الذكاء الاصطناعي في الصور الطبية زاد بدأت عندها سنوات.
Applying artificial intelligence in medical scans is something that surfaced years ago. They began using it to figure out different diseases, whether it is COVID-19 or other diseases. So here, we had the idea to combine AI and medical images because AI has the ability to analyze a lot of images in little time and at a low cost.
عدد كبير برشا من الصور في وقت قصير وبطبيعة الحال التكلفة تكون أرخص برشا.
The software is guided by tens of thousands of pulmonary images from hospitals in China, Italy and Spain, which were fed into the system to enrich its database and enhance its comparison abilities.
Là, c'est une région, ce sont des régions détectées donc, par deep learning du Covid dans les poumons. D'autres cas ici.
Well, here we can see regions that were detected by the software using deep knowledge of COVID-19 presence in the lungs. This application is interesting, especially for mass detections, if we want to analyze hundreds or thousands of images every day. That will help the medical team diagnose patients rapidly.
Donc ça va aider l'équipe médicale donc à faire le test rapidement.
This platform, by processing images, searches for the print of COVID-19 inside the human lung, and in this way we can know if the person has the virus or not.
The software, which was finalized in March, has been approved by the Tunisian Health Ministry. Hamdi and his students are working to improve the software, hoping to develop it to detect other diseases as lung cancer.
Je m'appelais Peter.
Bonjour Peter.
Engineers have developed a robot that can detect whether people are wearing a mask to guard against COVID-19 and if not, politely remind them to put one on. The feature is an upgrade of Opneper, a 120-centimeter high robot with human-like features that is already in operation in some countries, welcoming visitors to shops, exhibitions and other public spaces.
Mettre un masque, s'il te plaît.
Toujours en politesse.
Je ne suis pas sûre que tout le monde porte bien son
Opneper's
masque.
camera scans the faces of people approaching it, and if it detects the lower half of the face is uncovered, it pronounces the phrase, "You have to always wear a mask properly." If it sees that the visitor then puts on a mask, the robot follows up with the phrase, "Thank you for having put on your mask."
Je suis content de voir que tu portes un masque.
C'est plus un rappel, c'est une piqûre de rappel, je sais.
It's a reminder. A little reminder. You know, we are human. Sometimes I happen to remove my mask as I get off the bus because I forget the rules, and to put it on as I enter the office because the robot reminds me to. It's important. We all make mistakes. We all forget.
On peut tous se tromper, on peut tous oublier.
John says the idea is not to have a robot police whether people are wearing masks, but to provide a friendly reminder.
Les entreprises, les magasins doivent avoir du
Businesses and stores have had to have a lot of staff at the entrances to ensure people are wearing masks. And we know that sometimes there are tense situations with that. A robot allows to free up some staff so that they can focus on their normal activities, which are not necessarily on ensuring mask wearing is respected, and also to ease down some of these tensions and avoid for it to be seen as a police check, but rather to remind that it's important for everyone.
Chose vue plutôt comme un contrôle, mais rappeler que c'est important pour l'ensemble des personnes.
Merci d'avoir remis ton masque.
Opneper has been previously placed in German supermarkets to ensure social distancing in the early months of the pandemic. Boyrea says the robot can cost between 17,000 and 20,000 euros, with prices depending on the various functionalities of the droid.
Je suis là pour accueillir.
Next is my chat with Titi Adewusi, founder Niger Kids. Stay with us. Titi, glad to have you on the show today.
Hi, CFA. Nice to be here.
So how's it going?
It's been interesting times, honestly. COVID has been interesting times, and I would say a good one, really, for the edtech industry generally. So, yeah, happy.
So how much of an impact do you think that the pandemic has had on the edtech industry?
Honestly, I would say it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's been totally fantastic. I'll be very honest. You know, edtech before was nice to have, you know, something we are considering, something that is for the future, you know, something that is, you know, the back burner. And then suddenly COVID happened. And then you are suddenly, you are not even pushed. What's a bigger word than pushed? You are dragged to the front burner. That's the only way I can describe it. So COVID-19, the lockdown, the pandemic has really created an enabling environment. EdTech is no longer a nice to have. EdTech is now a must. And it's not only for the education space when we look at it in terms of education, but even for the corporate space. So a lot of trainings have had to transition online to using technology. A lot of things that they were doing, meetings. So it's just been an awesome time for EdTech. So I'm really excited in what this means. And what it just means is that we won't go back to how it was before. It's now something that everybody is seriously considering, irrespective of the business that they are in. So before, it used to just be the big players, the banks, the telcos, the likes of Google, the people that have deep pockets that were considering it. Schools that were big, yes, they were considering EdTech, but now everyone's considering it. Everybody just has to, consider it if they are to have some bit of survival during this period and even beyond. So it's been exciting times. We are so excited. We're like, this is open heavens from God. So it's been good.
But I have a question for you though. What do you think are some of the challenges that this also portends for the educational industry in the country or globally?
Well, let me even start with the country because our own challenges are a bit interesting. Technology, EdTech, requires three key factors. The first is that you have data and connectivity. The second is that you have power, electricity. And the third is that you have some form of device. In a lot of countries, the major challenge is usually the device. Do all the kids have devices and all that? But in Nigeria, those three factors are challenges. So data is honestly quite expensive. When I look at the Indian EdTech market, it's one of the biggest. And one of the main reasons why it's one of the biggest is because data is cheap and affordable. So that's a major one here. You find it out, even when you're on Zoom, people are taking off their videos. Why? It's because of data. People who want to do WhatsApp. A lot of schools could not transition to full online because they just want to use WhatsApp. So those are the key challenges when I think about it. There's data, there's power. So I have my staff working remotely, and sometimes they'll tell you, Madam, we've not had like a few hours. They're waiting for them to put on the gen. They want to charge them. So you can imagine they want to charge their laptops before they can send me something I'm waiting for. So light is a major one. It's the same thing. My children are doing online, and then the training is happening, and then it goes dark. The teacher is off because they're taking light in her place. So light is a major challenge for us. Then devices, a lot of people still don't have smartphones, smart devices that can help them go online. So those are the challenges generally, amongst other things.
Okay, I understand that there can be excitement about the fact that, EdTech has come to the front burner, but children of the less privileged kids, what about them? I mean, what should we do about that?
Honestly, those are the people that are most impacted right now by the lack of, by the pandemic. So let me not call it by the lack. And a lot has been done, to be fair. I have to do kudos to government for some of the things they've been doing. They've used radio, they've used TV, and it's not just in Nigeria, all over the world. I don't know any country that have all the children using devices. A lot of them have children in various communities that do not have devices. So they've used a lot of things. Some people have tried to get devices, they are moving from the schools, get them devices, but I mean, that's assuming that you already have. So I think a number of things that government is doing, which is in terms of radios, TV, WhatsApp group, little clusters, providing worksheets, anything they can do, depending on the peculiarities of the area, some of the things that are being done. And it can make do for now. That's what I would say. But in the long term, we have to look at it. We have to say, how do we create clusters whereby people can have access to devices? How do we create clusters where we can provide solar panels for them so that they can have access to light? How do we do local area network? Because it doesn't have to be data in terms of the internet. It can be, you know how it is, you can use Raspberry Pi and create a local network that a number of 20, 50, 100 devices can connect to that. So there are a lot of things we can do, but the solution is we have to plan for them. We don't have them now, so it's things that government and individuals, a lot of corporate support needs to really come in.
So at the moment, is there some sort of EdTech network or EdTech association or group or something, anything like that now?
Honestly, right now, it's amazing. It's fabricated, it's fragmented. I've been for a lot of things. There are a lot of associations, there are a lot of things, but nothing bringing it together. Nobody bringing it together. And that was one of the things I enjoyed when I was at Founders Institute. I enjoyed the fact of meeting. They were not specifically EdTech, but that thing that just brings all of us together, all of us to hear what each person is doing, to see what they're doing, their challenges. I found it very enlightening and refreshing. There was a company that tried to do the first EdTech conference. I can't remember the name. It was like EduPad and Edu. They tried to do something, and I met a lot of people doing wonderful things in EdTech. EdTech is being used for training, for recruitment. You can do exams across the state. Like that one where we rush. In my own time, we had to rush one venue, queue up one long queue to do the exams. But now, schools are having to do the exams online. I can't wait for a time when JAM, all these things will be done online. Look at how when you go and want to do your TOEFL or anything, you go to the British Embassy to go and do the all centers, and you're doing it. It's a CBT. CBT, then you get your results. So JAM needs to be there. Once they can cover all the challenges repeating and all that. But I think a lot of things should just move. So I see a lot of opportunities. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide. In Africa, it's not different. In Africa, it's expected to be at least growth. That was before COVID. It was expected to grow to $1 billion by the end of 2025. But with COVID, they're seeing the naira and they're seeing the dollars.
Okay, Titi, finally, what's next for your EdTech startup?
So for us, it's been exciting times. COVID has brought a lot of corporate partnership, which we're so excited about. So that's really very exciting. We're about to make a major announcement with our partnership with one of the major global technology companies, so that we're very excited. So a lot of opportunities are opened. What we're really trying to do is get the word out there in terms of the content that we have available, both for corporates and also for children. So anything that requires taking your content and taking it online, technology, but with the fun element, because that's really what's different. We use games. We have this fun element to just make learning, take it from the boring zone, take it to the fun zone. That's what we're about. So it's been an exciting time. So we look for more. We're looking for more corporate partnership, especially in terms of things that will help drive the data. So we're looking to partner with, telcos in terms of how we can bundle it and drive down the data, because that's really a lot of people's concern. I heard a school owner tell me that in 1 month she spent over 200,000 naira on data. I have like 3 service providers at the minimum at any point in time. So I'll have MTN, I have SpectraNet, I have, just so that, I don't have any stories. I don't want to tell stories. So if those things can be brought low, my estate for the first time is actually now having fiber being done around our estate. They never would have considered it, but people have been spending so much money. So a lot of things. I just feel we need more collaborations. We need more corporates to help push EdTech, which is the future. And we're all here waiting and excited, ready to partner with telcos, with corporates, with banks, technology companies. We're just here waiting.
All right, Titi, thank you so much for being on the show. I wish you all the best as you build.
Thank you, CFA. Thank you for having us. We're really excited. So people can check us out, Naija Kids, for all your fun learning.
Yeah, cheers. Bye-bye, Titi.
Bye.
Cheers. I've been chatting with Titi Adewusi, founder, Naija Kids. And like she stated, we have to take full advantage of EdTech in helping our students learn, especially in a post-COVID world, because we do not have the budget to build thousands of schools for physical learning. So technology is the way to go. We've come to the end of the show, but it doesn't end here. The conversation continues online. We are Tech Trends TV on social media. Also watch the entire show on Channels TV YouTube or cfablog.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.